this morning, testing out the remote into the base station from the shop here. Got a little bit of a setup. Have this going into the phone. So I've got this DBX 231 graphic equalizer that I'm really just kind of testing for a friend to see if it's working properly. And I just had to test both channels to kind of figure out what's actually going on. And just decided, well, shoot, we'll use it on the remote and see what happens if it's working. So what I got here is a like a headphone splitter for a phone. I've got my iPhone right there. So I've got the speakers, so the speaker headphone output of the phone running into channel 1, and the output of channel 1 going over here to an amplified speaker. And then I have the microphone connection here on the phone. I've got that coming into the output of channel 2, and the input of channel 2, I've got the RE20 that I'm using as the main microphone. So, a remote broadcast setup. It sounds pretty darn good, actually. I've been using it here this morning, talking with the locals, and yeah, it actually works pretty darn good. You can... How about it out there, DX Land? How about it out there, DX Land? DX Land 124, 124, Central Arkansas, standing by. Break 'em, break 'em. Well, I sure can, Mr. 414 out there in North Carolina. I've got a whole room full of you. 2040 over 9. You sounding all kinds of good. 124, 124, waving back. Break a break up. Well, 414 out there in the Mud Duck pickup, man, you are smoking. That is one good sounding mobile, I gotta tell you. Like I said, you're drowning out just about everybody on the frequency. It's just you and me right now. So keep up the good work. 124, 124, waving back to you. Good morning. All right, I do appreciate it there, Mr. 414. You take it easy, be safe out there on the roads, and hopefully I get to catch up with you again here in that fine sounding mobile. 124 out here in Arkansas, standing by. Break up, break up. Hey, Roger. Man, I hear a whole bunch of other people waving at me. Let's try it one at a time. 124, I'm standing by. Break. Hello out there, 383 in the Mobile also. 383 out there in that Mobile. 124, 124 here in Arkansas. I'm waving back to you. Break up, break up, break up. Alrighty there, 383 out there in Georgia. Man, you smoking as well. Yeah, you didn't quite have the mustard to pick off 414, but you were definitely up in there. Like I said, it was whining and squealing, but I think 414 definitely had you beat on that one. But 383, boy, you smoking up in here as well out of Georgia. 124, glad to hear all y'all out there in the Mobile. Y'all are smoking. Keep up the good work. 124 here in the hog yard standing by. Well, hello out there, 999 out there in Tennessee. 999 out there in Tennessee. Boy, you smoking too. 124 here in Arkansas. Waving back to you, Break. Alrighty there, 999. Yeah, I got it all. Appreciate you standing by and appreciate the contact there. Definitely doing a good job when Mother Nature allows. But anyway, take it easy out there in Cam. 124 here in Arkansas. I'll be standing by. Right? Pretty good, pretty good. This is on channel 26, by the way, and just running 100 watts off the remote here through the deal. So. This is also running. The computer is on the home network. The phone this is off of a cellular network, so this is 4G LTE. This is not on a Wi-Fi network. This is completely cellular. So this is kind of what you can expect as far as latency, as far as audio quality to and from the transmitter. But yeah, this is just kind of a good demonstration as far as like what you can expect from your home station on a Wi-Fi network and then connecting to it off of a cellular network from your phone. Yeah, that's right. Ar134 Radio. Ar124 Radio. So I've got the video rolling right now, but I'll post it here in just a little bit.
Just pull it up there and subscribe to your channel. Yeah, this thing's very blipped out a little bit there. Kind of freaked out on the audio. It seems to be peaking up too much, and it causes the GarageBand to freak out. And it's only done that since I've tried. There's multiple layers of volume levels. There's the track, the master, of course the volume level of the output. Quite a few ways to adjust the volume in it, but I was going through and playing with it, and I'm peaking high enough that it kind of freaks the audio out and gives it a little bit on me, and I just turn the volume down just a hair. If I get quite a bit up on the mic, it might do it. Other than that, it seems to do pretty good. The MacBook never did that. I've never noticed it doing it, so I might be reaching the limits of what this Mac Mini is doing.
Yeah, I know sometimes the processing programs can be pretty heavy on a system on your computer, but yeah, I did notice that it kind of glitched out on the top end when you were raising the gain up on it a little bit, but yeah, mine will do kind of the same thing, because actually right now the way I've got this remote set up, and you'll kind of see it in the video and some of the other videos that I have out there on my channel, I've got the audio actually running through the Discord voice chat that's connected to my computer back home. So I've got the Discord voice chat open on my phone that's connected to the computer. So it'll do that every once in a while too, if I get too up on the mic, or if my internet connection kind of goes a little squirrely, it'll kind of glitch out the way yours did. But yeah, it's just one of those things you kind of got to deal with. But I'm kind of wondering, You said that you've got an amplifier in line. I wonder if you get up too much on it, you're getting any kind of RF in the line there on your cables going between the radio and everything. So that might also be something, but I think it's more kind of just reaching the limits of what the MacBook, the little Mac can do there. So I think that's probably more what the issue is.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I did have to go through a bunch of reorganization, running all the amps on one side of the room, pass any audio, anything, anywhere near the radio. Everything's grounded except for the mic itself. If I ground it, it causes a ground issue. This radio, I'm not happy with it squealing unless I just listen to talkback. If I have my headphones on, listen to talkback, it will, if I turn my head sideways enough, it's loud enough in my talkback that I can't turn it down enough to get it to not squeal, but if I can, I need to put a pitch on the variable even to turn my talkback down, because it's so loud in my ears with the factory talkback. So loud, it hurts my ear a little bit. But I need to get a in line that I can adjust that talkback down even more, because it's a little bit much when I get my volume turned up like this.
Yeah, I kind of had the same trouble with my stuff, trying to monitor it via the talkback and everything. But I don't know. Sometimes you can get it at least a little bit harnessed if you have like a noise gate or something that you can run in the background. But I don't know. Is that the BM800? Is it a condenser mic or is it a dynamic mic? I can't remember.
I believe it's a condenser. It's been a bit. I'm pretty sure it's a condenser. Came up with a little cheap sound card, which was junk. It fell apart immediately. But it runs through the 3.5 millimeter. I bought a not really an expensive USB sound card, just a cheap Amazon sound card. And it seems, it's used in phantom power. That's why the Ar134 I bought that for it, to give it the 48 volt phantom. And what's weird is I plug it into this sound card, and I don't need the pre in line. It seems like it does it on its own. But I also talked to a couple guys locally, and one guy specifically told me that this sound card may not be giving it what it needs. It does that freak out mode where it's on the audio. It may just be too much going on. And like you said, the processor, the Mac Mini is not nearly as good as the one I have, the MacBook Pro, and it's got 16 gigs of memory in the Pro, so this Mac may not handle all the beans I'm giving it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, like I said, with some of those audio processing programs, that sometimes they can really max out a system pretty quick, especially if you have a lot of plugins on it. I know you said you had like a compressor and an EQ and stuff in there, but if you really got a pretty long audio chain in there, and you start using a lot of plugins, it can really suck up some CPU processing, and it can glitch stuff out pretty good. But yeah, that might also be part of the problem with like your feedback and everything, like the condenser. It's because them things, I've used a couple of them, and I just never really liked the condensers just because of that very reason with the feedback and everything. They're just so sensitive. I mean, if you get them dialed in, they sound really, really good, just because of the sensitivity, especially on the higher end. So yeah, but the thing you kind of give up though is they tend to feedback pretty bad or pick up a lot of background noise. So if you kind of got a lot of stuff going on in the background in your shack, then it kind of tends to be a little bit noisy, but if you have a really quiet, dead room, then they sound really great.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, this is like my noise gate. Where it's set at now is about negative 53 dB, and here's with the noise gate off. So fan noise in there, and it just goes away.
Yeah, so like I said, sometimes you can get it dialed in with the noise gate to be able to minimize or at least eliminate or at least minimize the feedback on it. But sometimes you have to raise it up so much that you end up kind of clipping off the beginning parts of your words and stuff, and then you can almost really tell that it's on because it's like just so like almost wavy sounding when you speak. So yeah, I feel your pain.
Yeah, copy that there. Yeah, a couple locals noticed it clipping me on the noise gate, and it seemed to me like what I ended up overcoming that with was the volume levels on the track versus the master. The noise gate is on the track, and if I had the track volume up enough, it makes it better that it doesn't clip, and vice versa. I just had to raise one level, lower the other, and then use the noise gate on the track, not the master, and then of course the reverb and things like that. The EQs in the master, I think I've got it actually, no, the track is where the EQ's at. I use it for that. The master, only thing it has is the gate, I think. Or no, the gate's on the track also. The master has the artifact. And of course, I'm watching YouTube videos on people doing studio setups.
Yeah, right, exactly. You kind of want your reverb as the last thing that you end up in line, because if you put it like before a compressor, especially before a noise gate or something, it ends up acting really funny and weird, and you end up with kind of sounds that you really don't want to be in there. So, but yeah, it's definitely working. So all you're using is just EQ, compression, limiter, and reverb. Is that kind of basically your chain there?
Just reading it off the list here. It's there's a Deesser on here. I don't have that turned on. Never did have luck with that. As long as I keep my volume down.
Yeah, exactly.
To a certain level, it doesn't the pop and the S's are not as bad. I mean, I'm sure I could clean it up some with the Deesser if I knew. I played with it and I never really got the hang of it, but I got that compressor. The exciter is actually turned on. If I turn it off, this is off on the exciter, so it might actually clean up the S's a little bit, but I've always left it on, and that's pretty much it as far as just the compressor, EQ, and noise gate. There's the main compression, and that's pretty much the main function, and the master reverb.
Copy that. Yeah, I agree. I could never, or I mean, I had the de-esser on, but I just really never noticed it make a big difference on what I can hear, at least on the over-the-air portion of it. I mean, if you monitor it directly, you might notice just a little bit of a difference, but overall, I kind of had the same results where it really didn't do anything for me. And I've got a what is it? A Behringer, I think it's a Composer Pro or something like that, as my limiter, expander, gate, compressor thing, and it had the de-esser on it, but yeah, it really didn't do anything for me either.
Yeah, it seemed to me like it hurt my top end, higher frequencies. It did take the sharpness of the. And another thing is, I didn't ever realize talking at a certain distance consistently with this mic is important, because talking up close to it gets a little bassier. Talking back from it a little bit makes it too shrill. So this mic is obviously not a quality mic, but it's doing what I need for right now until I get something. But turn the reverb off. A lot of people that aren't fans of reverb, I like it. I never really cared for reverb or echo on anything, but once I turned it on here, it seems like it just cleans it up.
Yeah, and I think that's really kind of the difference with mine. Like, it kind of seems like that could be something that would liven it up just a little bit, because I get what you're saying, and it almost makes it a little bit more, what would you say, kind of live sounding, like it just kind of sounds dead if you don't have any reverb, but I've just never had any reverb in mine. And the way I've got it right now, I mean, I'm talking over like an internet connection, so it might get kind of squirrely every once in a while, but let's see here if I turn that off. Like this is without the DBX processor on. This is just plain straight through to the phone. And then if I turn the processor on, it makes it makes a little bit of a difference. I don't know if you can hear it on the other end though.
Oh yeah, it sounds good. So you're remote talking from your phone?
Yeah, so I'm remote controlling my transmitter, so you'll see in the video when I post it, and there's a couple of videos that I have out there already of how I've got it working, but basically I'm keying and unkeying the transmitter remotely from my shop here, and I've got this microphone plugged into the phone going back to my base station. So I can remotely control the like to turn on the transmitter and turn it off, and I can move the receive frequency, but I have yet to figure out how to get the transmit frequency to move, just because it's an old Cobra 148 is what I'm using. So I mean, the receiver is separate from the transmitter because I'm using this HD SDR as my main receiver, so they're both separate, and the receiver runs on the computer. So I can just remote into my computer and control the receiver, and I have a USB relay that controls the transmitter to key it up and unkey it. But I need to figure out some way to be able to remotely turn that channel knob. But yeah, I'm just controlling everything from my phone here right now.
Oh, okay, gotcha there. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I just downloaded the software for my ICOM 7300, and of course the audio is horrible stuff. Sideband's great, but I just hooked up the Windows program that you can remote control it. You know, set up remote access or whatever from PC, or you can just use it on a monitor, a large monitor, and watch your SDR waterfall and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and I was going to set it up to do receive on the 7300, transmit on the 2517 for AM. But before I go that far, I'm probably going to get into the 7300 and pipe some of this audio through it to see what I can get out of it before I rule out, going receive only on the 73, see what I can come up with on that.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I agree. AM on a 7300, I don't know what it is. They just don't, they don't quite get after it, But yeah, I've heard some of them sound pretty good, but overall, really the killer is it just brick walls at 3 kilohertz. So like right at 3 kilohertz on either side of the carrier, it is straight down cuts it. And then the bass response, I mean, it's kind of there, but it also kind of cuts that right around, like, I'd say about 200 hertz, maybe 125, right around in there. It just kind of cuts it out. So you can get a little bit out of it, but it just really kind of limits you as far as what it'll pass through it. But as far as receiving goes, yeah, I would probably do the same thing. But some people say that if you go like back through the accessory port on the back of the radio, like how you would do FT8 or any of the digital modes or something like that, you can get a little bit better response instead of going through the mic jack. But I don't know, you're still kind of limited as far as what the radio will pass internally through the mic preamps and stuff. But it's worth a try. I mean, I've heard some of them out there that sound pretty darn good.
Yeah, I've heard the same on the rear port, using the accessory port back there. There's a couple, there's 2 or 3, well, actually I think the guy tells on the video, there's about 6 ways to get audio in and out of this radio. And one of them's through that accessory. Some of you can use USB thought about getting a USB mic and piping it through the processing, and then problem is there's no Mac OS 7300. It's Windows only, so I'm going to have to run later, which is pretty data intensive. It's going to, the CPU is going to be over smoking trying to get it done, especially with processing going on too. So I'm not sure quite what I'm going to do just yet, but this Galaxy's got the audio on the E and smoke compared to the ICOM. But I do love the seeing that on receive, so it might actually be easier just to get an SDR dongle and running that route instead of using the 7300 just as a receiver. But basically like what you're doing, you end up with the best of both worlds. You just got to turn the knob on there manually.
Yeah, that is the only problem, and that's the thing. Like with the 7300, you can interconnect with the computer, and it'll track both receive and transmit if you're scrolling on the computer. But like you said, with the fact that the remote software doesn't work with anything Apple, kind of stinks. And yeah, in that case, you're almost, like you said, better off trying with the SDR dongle. And man, some of them things are just cheap as all get out too. I mean, the one that I've got, it's like the what is it? The not HD SDR, but Noelec NESDR. So it's basically like a little thumb drive looking thing, and you can use just about any SDR software. You can use SDR Uno. You could use HD SDR, and that's what I use, HD SDR, just because, I don't know, it's kind of the best one that I've found. But there's so many different software options out there that you can use, and most all of them support this particular dongle, and almost all other ones as well. You might not have as many features as, say, something like one of the higher end SDR rigs, but yeah, it works really well, and it kind of gives you a whole lot of options. The best thing that I've kind of figured out with running an SDR is the fact that you have so many more options with noise reduction. Oops, my timer key, my timer timed out on me. But yeah, the best thing is with that is noise reduction, and it really kind of helps a lot, especially if you have some noise problems as far as just man-made noise or whatever. There's a lot of options that work really, really well in most of these different software options.
I agree with that. The receive on that 7300 the mess of static and background noises from different outside objects to receive. It gives you pretty good options to narrow it down. And of course, you have the option for a preamp too, but it's not necessary normally. Yeah, I like how that. I love how that has the waterfall. Being able to see all 40 channels at the same time. The local, skip, it's all over the place. You see it, but local is nice. See which locals are popping on or not. But yeah, I'm definitely looking to SDR would be a little easier setup, and it would probably run on Mac just fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most all of these options, like all of the software that you can get, I believe most of them will cross over to Apple operating system. I believe. I'm not for sure 100% on every single one of them, but I'm pretty sure that SDR Uno will work. I'm pretty sure. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. I'm located over here in Conway, Arkansas, about 30 miles north of Little Rock. Yeah, it's disconnecting and reconnecting. You kind of heard it drop out there for a second, but yeah, I'm located about 30 miles north of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Copy that there. That was a Discord sound, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the Discord sound, disconnecting and reconnecting, but yeah, I don't know if, I think the battery on my phone is going a little low, so that's probably what's making it want to disconnect or not want to run quite as smooth, but let me see what we got going on here. Ruh-roh! Maybe I done sucked up all my data. That might be what it is. There we go. And this is what you gotta do to get it reconnected, is just work around with it, you know.
I don't know if conditions dropped out and you may still have some issues going on there. I'll hang around for just a minute to see if you pop in there.
Alright, maybe I'm back.
Maybe I'm back. Yep, there you are. Yeah, I figured you just having some issues or that maybe conditions dropped out or something.
No, conditions are hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit, but yeah, I think my, like I said, my battery on my phone is running a little low, and then it kind of lags down a little bit when that happens. So, but yeah, I just had to disconnect and reconnect again. So it seems to be working now. I think. Maybe not. Well, come on. Maybe not. Well, let me get back here in the house, and maybe I can just get back in on the shack. I was out here in the shop working, but give me just a second. I'll be back on the base here in a minute. All right, I'm going to the house.